Oh, it's magnetic too?
Yeah,
That's
I know how to
fancy.
build stuff.
That's fancy.
Give it a rotate. Keep going. Keep going. Oh. All right. Kyle, stop! There's one ball in here that I really want it to be. I put one bomb in here. Oh! Did you see it?
Nope, but I'm scared. If you,
Oh,
if
dude,
you're happy, I'm sad.
It's so perfect. All right, let me pour my beer. It's so perfect because I'm reading a book about this right now, and I have a talking point that's perfect.
I haven't read in a while.
I don't read a lot, but I'm fascinated by this one. It's something that a lot of people are fascinated by, and some people worship. Kyle, today's topic is Hitler.
Name 3 things you like about him.
He was good to his dog.
Yeah. Blondie.
You know his dog's name?
Yeah, it's Blondie. I think the band Blondie named their band after Blondie. The
For
dog.
real?
That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's accurate, but I'm going to believe it because it's cool.
That's not cool.
Yeah, it is.
3 good things about him.
Yeah.
His lederhosen weren't bad. I don't think that he would have been Me Too'd. I think he was in a sexual relationship with Germany as a country. What do you think are 3 good things about Adolf Hitler?
The first thing that comes to my mind is that he ended animal vivisection. And number 2, he ended a shitty mustache trend. I can't think of a third.
Here's my relating this to modern society. Joe Rogan had on Dr. Robert Malone, and he's one of the guys that helped assist create mRNA technology, but now he's come forward with a lot of hesitancy towards the current vaccine. And one of the things then that this Robert Malone went on to discuss was the world, or at least America as a whole, is being hypnotized on a mass scale to just blindly follow the science on the vaccine, the virus. We are in a state of psychosis and hypnosis that he likens to what happened in Germany during Hitler's rise to power. He argues, okay, before Hitler rose to power, Germany was a very intelligent nation, a very civilized nation, a very forward-thinking nation. Hitler comes in and literally hypnotized the whole nation and did what he did. He is making the assumption that it was psychosis that led that to happen, correct?
Yeah, he pit people against each other.
But Robert Malone is saying that hypnosis and psychosis on a mass level caused that to happen, or allowed that to happen. It allowed Germany to go crazy.
Well, it's more than that, because there's this documentary called The Wave, and there was a teacher who did an experiment on her students, and she divided the class into halves. The class who had blue eyes or something were the superiors for a while, and they had rule over the other kids. It ended up turning into kids reporting each other for
It becomes a power.
Yeah,
that's just power dynamics.
It made kids feel special and for reporting other people for doing things that the hierarchy didn't like.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's my argument against Dr. Malone, a man who graduated from Harvard or UCLA with degree and stuff. But I'm reading a book about the rise and fall of the Third Reich. What led Germany to a point where this would happen? And the book starts in the 1810s. There was no unified Germany. Otto von Bismarck unified the country in, I think, the 1850s or 60s, something like that. Rose up in the ideological world, the education, science, everything. Production went through the roof. But I'm learning from this book that nationalism is not just I'm super patriotic, or I put my country first. It is that, but nationalism has a component of oppression. Something is oppressing another country, and so therefore that country that's being oppressed has nationalistic pride. And that's what was going on with Germany. Germany was oppressed heavily by the French. Otto von Bismarck, with a nationalist uprising somewhat, made Germany what it became. And nationalism in and of itself might not necessarily be a bad thing. America was a nationalist thing before the American Revolutionary War. We were being oppressed by England, and so that's why we fought for our independence. It bred a through line of put Germany first, Germans first. There was already a seed of fear of the other, fear of the Slavs, fear of the Jews. What I'm basically saying is it wasn't just everything's fine in Germany for the Jews and the Slavs and the minority groups, and then suddenly Hitler comes in and everyone turns. It was part of society to be a certain level of anti-Semitic.
But isn't Hitler himself an outsider? Because he's Austrian and not German.
That all was kind of settled during World War I, because Austria and Hungary were mixed and they were a state, and they started pushing out outsiders, Serbians, and Germany allied with Austria-Hungary and said, we're with you, that you're kicking out these undesirables. Serbia then had a nationalist uprising because they were being oppressed by Austria, and that's what led to the murder of Franz Ferdinand. Austria-Hungary sent their prince, Franz Ferdinand, and then a Serbian assassin killed Franz Ferdinand and his wife, Sophie, I believe her name was. It's so crazy. Franz Ferdinand is in his car. They're coming to an intersection and they slow down to make a turn, and a Serbian upriser, a nationalist who's part of the Black Hand of Serbia, steps into the road and fires 3 bullets from a revolver. 1 kills Franz Ferdinand, 1 kills his wife, and 1 misses. And that started World War I, which then in turn led to World War II. It's just so astronomical that it even happened, and then that led to worldwide war. The leader, it wasn't Otto von Bismarck, the leader of Germany or Prussia at the time, said, well, we'll just nix this Serbian uprising and that'll be the end of it. We're not going to have an all-out war. It'll just be a scuffle. We'll handle it. It'll be fine. And then, meanwhile, Russia, the UK, and France allied with Serbia and said, we got your back if you get invaded. Meanwhile, let me take a drink. The Kaiser Wilhelm II, is in charge of Prussia/Germany and Austria-Hungary. His cousin is the Tsar of Russia, the man in charge of Russia, and his other cousin is the leader, is the king in the UK. Just cousins, a bunch of inbred royalty.
That was World War II?
That was World War I.
Oh, World War I, okay.
Which then eventually, the aftershock of World War I led to World War II happening, because the Treaty of Versailles just fucked over Germany. It was pretty harsh on Germany, and it made them feel oppressed again, and so then nationalist uprising.
Well, didn't Germany...
And that's what happened.
Didn't Germany go into like a depression after like World War I, and then Hitler brought them out of that depression? Like,
yeah,
boosted their economy greatly.
Because the Treaty of Versailles said, Germany, it's your fault that this war happened, so you have to pay for it, and it was $34 billion in 1918,
which is a lot.
That's
a shit ton.
That's $500 billion now.
So like Elon Musk money.
And meanwhile, they settled that debt on Germany, and then France took over their industrial hub.
Is that the place where they would like bring in money for warmth because it was more
efficient?
Yeah, more efficient.
Because money wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
it might have been.
Was that like Russia that they did that in?
I could see it happening in all of those countries.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is a lot of times when there's a dictator, it's them and nobody else matters. Like, they kill their own people, they're shitty towards their own people, it doesn't matter.
Like Kim Jong-un?
Kim Jong-un, the Il family.
I would say that he's worse than Hitler, possibly, in a sense.
Kyle, goddamn it.
I'm sorry.
Like Pol Pot, he killed 25% of his own country's total population.
I can't remember the Chinese guy's name.
Mao,
yeah, he killed like more people than anyone in history.
Like 40 or 50 mil.
Yeah, like the only one like comparable is like Genghis Khan, who killed like 10% of the global population when he was alive.
But 10% of the global population did not equal that many people.
Yeah, but it's still a lot. Though.
Oh, it was a fair bit of people.
Pretty devastating.
It was several people.
Yeah, and like a lot of people say that if they were alive and like in Germany at the time, they would never do that. But that study that this teacher did on her own students, it kind of proved that they would.
I think there was a fair bit of people that like didn't exactly know what was going on with the final solution, but they were like, they knew something was happening and like kind of willfully denied it. They were like, oh yeah, I mean the Nazis are, they're just really strong-handed. But then like, it's like, you don't smell the cremation pits less than a kilometer away from your house. Like, something crazy's going on over there, and you're just like, oh, I'm just minding my own.
Those videos and images are like horrifying.
Yeah, it is.
What Hitler did.
It's truly the most horrifying thing that's ever happened.
And you see these people, and they're like skin and bone, but they're still like alive somehow.
Yeah, I'm sure the Japanese were doing some crazy shit similar to the Chinese at the time.
Like the Nanjing massacre. There was a Nazi who was just like, this needs to stop because these Japanese are out of control.
It was literally the rape of Nanking, and I was like, "Who's Nanking?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a city.
Yeah.
An entire city was raped
For like 3 months.
That's the only
Thousands
description."
of raped nights. Yeah, because I think there was like Schindler's List, like Schindler in that movie or whatever. Was he a real person?
Yeah.
He like
Oscar
did all those
Schindler.
Jews. There was a Nazi who did the same thing for the Chinese because of what the Japanese were doing.
The Nazis there was a Nazi saving Chinese people.
Yeah. It was that bad.
Where's that movie? It's crazy how recent in history that was.
Yeah, like
It's fucking crazy.
my grandmother was in her 20s when that was happening,
Jesus
and
Christ.
she's still alive somehow.
That's insane.
Yeah,
She was born in the 20s?
she was born 25. Yeah, so yeah,
She's coming up on 100.
she's close. Yeah, she's
Holy
like
shit.
96, close to 97.
Well, any other thoughts on...
He also was the reason why we have opening ceremonies in the Olympics, so that's kind of cool.
Well, how? How was he responsible for that?
He used it as Nazi propaganda.
Oh, it became a Nazi rally?
Yeah, there's also a documentary on Netflix about that too. The first Olympics that was televised was in Berlin, Germany, and it was like used as like Nazi propaganda, and like you would see like Nazi flags all over the place, and people knew what that was and what was going on, but like they just kind of.
The Nazi iconography is so fucking striking and like harrowing.
But the thing that sucks too is that they turned a symbol of peace
Yeah.
into a symbol of just like
Ultimate horror.
yeah.
And-
But like in like the Eastern world, like in Japan, they still see it as like a symbol of peace. They don't know
Because they were allied with the Nazis.
they don't know like as much about like the Nazis as we do in America, which is
Really?
crazy. Yeah, like
Another thing that's fascinating about World War II that I've learned is that from the outset, we treated the Germans differently than we treated the Japanese. We were more heartless to the Japanese.
yeah, probably because the Germans are more like us.
Yes. And like, yeah, so like right from the outset, like America, we would carpet bomb Tokyo. We didn't give a fuck. Whereas we didn't really, we firebombed Dresden, which was bad. We committed atrocities, obviously, in Japan. There's obviously the nuclear bombs, but like...
I have a fun fact about Japan, kinda too.
What?
Like the Age of the Samurai, which is like the Edo period, like the last era of the samurai, it ended in like the late 80s. not the 80s, the late 1800s.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty recent in history. Like there's still probably samurai walking around when my grandma was alive, which is like legitimate samurai. And like baseball and samurai existed at the same time. I learned that from Samurai Champloo.
Is it true? Did you fact check it?
I did. I looked it up. Like history is so weird when you think about it. Like freaking Anne Frank and Martin Luther King and then Barbara Walters are all the same age. And they're all younger than my grandma.
Your grandma can beat all their asses.
She's like, I think 2 years older than all of them. I think they were up one in 27.
You know what's crazy is it's even almost like another sign of racism is that like any major white people who have been killed, you know who killed them or tried to kill them, and like who killed MLK? You don't know. You can't name them. Who killed Malcolm X?
I don't know.
But maybe it's just that those two men supersede. They decided to focus on who was killed rather than who did the killing, which maybe is.
But you're also comparing them to people who killed presidents. I mean, Martin Luther King is huge too, but like he's not as big as like a president still.
There's no JFK Day and there's a Martin Luther King Day.
I got holiday pay for Martin Luther King Day.
Nice.
I got triple time.
Nice.
Yeah, I was getting.
You should buy a new fucking shirt.
That's white privilege if you ask me. Triple time on MLK Day as a white person.